my dear learners, for this course on heat transfer. In this module 1, we are discussing on introductory concepts on heat transfer and also steady state heat conduction in one dimension. In our previous lecture, we have derived the general expression for heat conduction in Cartesian coordinate system. In today's lecture, we are ready to derive the general expression for heat conduction in cylindrical coordinate system. Now, moving ahead, for deriving the three-dimensional governing differential equation for heat conduction in cylindrical coordinate, let us consider a shaft as shown in figure A. So now, on this shaft, let me consider an elemental volume as shown in the figure in a distance of r. Let the volume thickness be dr. Now, if you clearly observe, for a cylinder, the radius r varies in the horizontal plane because the top face and bottom face of the cylinder are circle. So therefore, radius r varies in the horizontal plane. So therefore, we have represented the r in the horizontal plane. Now, in the horizontal plane, the angle phi varies from 0 to 360 degree. So therefore, I have shown the angle phi and radius r in the horizontal plane, which varies from 0 to 360 degree. Now, phi varies in a circular manner in the horizontal plane, whereas radius r varies perpendicular to the standing vertical cylinder like this, r direction, and I will take the z direction vertically upwards, that is height of the cylinder or this shaft. So this I take it as z direction, r varies perpendicular to the vertical cylinder in this direction, that is along x direction, and phi varies in a circular manner. So phi varies in a horizontal plane in a circular manner. So therefore, the temperature is a function of z, r and phi. So temperature is a function of z, r and phi for cylindrical coordinate system. Now, if I pick this element and place here and analyze for the lengths. So since phi varies from 0 to 360 degree, for an elemental volume I can take it as d phi, the angle phi as d phi. So therefore, this length will become, by using the formula S is equal to r theta, this length will become radius r into theta is d phi. So therefore, this length is nothing but r times d phi. Hope you understood. This length is r times d phi. Now, the vertical height is considered as z direction, therefore the height can be denoted as dz. And I am considering an elemental thickness dr at a radius r, so therefore this length is nothing but dr. So the volume of this element is dr, dz, r, d phi. Hope the concept is clear to you people. Now let us consider the heat conducted from z direction be qz and leaving be q of z plus dz. Similarly, in r direction, heat conducted to be qr and leaving is qr plus dr. Similarly, in phi direction, heat conducted into the volume be q phi, leaving is q phi plus d phi. So now for this volume, that is for figure B, if I write the energy balance from figure B, if I write the energy balance equation, I can write net heat conducted into the volume per unit time plus heat generated inside the volume per unit time must be equal to increase in internal energy per unit time plus work done by the unit volume per unit time. Work done by the volume per unit time. So from the energy balance we can write the net heat conducted into this volume plus the heat generation. Let us consider there is a constant heat generation of Q dot watt per meter cube. So there is a heat generation of Q dot watt per meter cube inside this volume must be equal to increase in the internal energy of the volume plus work done by this volume per unit time. This is from energy balance. Let me take this as first term, this as second term, this as third term, and this as fourth term. Sum of first and second term should be equal to sum of third and fourth term. Let us analyze the terms one by one. If I consider term 1, now net heat conducted into the volume will be calculated after calculating the heat conducted from R direction, phi direction and Z direction. So therefore heat entering along R direction per unit time will be equal to QR, which is nothing but minus KR AR dou T by dou R. Now the dimension, that is along R direction, the length is dou R. It is correct. We know that from Fourier law of conduction, the conduction equation is given by minus Ka delta T by length, T2 minus T1 by L. So along R direction, the length is dr. Therefore it is dou T by dou R, and the area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow in R direction will be dz R d phi. So area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow in R direction will be R d phi dz. So this is the area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow. This is R d phi and this is dz. So area will be R d phi dz. So this can be written as minus KR. Area along R direction is R d phi dz dou T by dou R, R d phi dz is the area along R direction perpendicular to the direction of heat flow. So now heat leaving along R direction per unit time, heat leaving along R direction per unit time is taken as QR plus dr, which can be written as QR plus dou QR by dou R dr. This you people already know. So therefore heat accumulated inside the volume per unit time along R direction will be entering is QR minus leaving is QR minus dou QR by dou R dr. So therefore if I substitute and solve, QR will get cancelled. Now we know the value of QR here, that is already known to us. Minus of minus will become plus, so therefore it is KR dou by dou R of R dou T by dou R into d phi dz into d phi dz. So now this is of the form differentiation of u into v root. First function differentiation of second plus second function into differentiation of first. So if I do that, I will get KR first function is r, so you get r. Differentiation of second is dou square t by dou r square plus second function is dou t by dou t by dou r. Differentiation of first, that is r differentiate with respect to r, will be unity into d phi dz. This is what we will get. Now moving ahead for phi direction. If I move for phi direction, heat entering along phi direction per unit time will be q phi, which is equal to thermal conductivity along phi direction into area along perpendicular to direction of heat flow in phi direction into delta T, that is dou T divided by length along phi direction. So this is the phi direction. Along phi direction the length is r d phi. So from Fourier law of conduction it states that minus k, area perpendicular direction of heat flow, into delta T divided by length. So delta T is dou T by length is r d phi. R, so I should take partial derivative, r dou phi I should take. This is because temperature is a function of more than one space coordinate and also it is function of time. Now the area along phi direction, that is area perpendicular to the heat flow, is dz dr. So where a phi is dz dr, so this can be written as minus k phi dou T by r dou phi dz dr. Now moving ahead for heat leaving the volume along phi direction per unit time is already known to us, which is q phi plus d phi. So which can be written as q phi plus dou q phi by length is r dou phi into r d phi. So the length is r d phi. So therefore, if I substitute this and solve, I will get heat accumulated inside the volume along phi direction per unit time will be heat entering is q phi minus heat leaving is minus q phi minus dou q phi by r dou phi r d phi. So if I solve q phi will get cancelled. So now we know the value of q phi. Substituting for q phi and differentiating, so we get minus of minus is plus, that is k phi dou by r dou phi of we have dou t by r dou phi dz dr into r d phi. Just I substituted the value of q phi for q phi here, and we are differentiating with respect to r d phi. differentiated with respect to r d phi, and I have taken minus k phi outside. So now if I solve this one, I will get k phi into 1 by r into, we have first function is 1 by r, second function is dou t by dou phi. So therefore differentiation of, that is first function into differentiation of second is dou square t by dou phi square plus second function is dou t by dou phi. Differentiation of first, differentiation of 1 by r with respect to phi is 0 into, we have r d phi dz dr. So cancel off this r and this r. If I cancel off, I left out with k phi 1 by r dou square t by dou phi square d phi dz dr. This is what I will get. Now moving ahead for along z direction, heat accumulated inside the volume per unit time. Will be q times z minus q times z plus dz, which is equal to qz minus qz minus dou qz by dou z, because length along z direction is dz itself. So this two will get cancelled. Now I can write it as minus dou by dou z into dz, sorry, it is minus dou qz by dou z dz, because length along z direction is dz itself, minus dou by dou z of qz is minus kz, area along z direction, is dr r d phi. This length is r d phi, this is dr, area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow along z direction is dr r d phi. It is dr r d phi is the area into dou t by dou z whole multiplied by dz, dou t by dou z whole multiplied by dz. So therefore this will be equal to, minus of minus is plus kz dou square t by dou z square into r d phi dz into dr. So dr r d phi dz. So this is the heat accumulated inside the volume per unit time along z direction. Now if I account for net heat accumulated from all the three directions, that is from r direction, phi direction and from z direction, I will get the answer as that is from r direction we have for term 1 net heat conducted into the volume per unit time will be equal to, so I can write this as Kr times R dou square T by dou r square plus dou t by dou r. If I want to take r d phi dz and dr common, so here I have bestowed dr, kindly add dr here. Kindly make a note, we have bestowed dr, so kindly multiply dr. Now throughout I want to take r d phi dr dz common, so therefore if I want to take r d phi dz dr common, we will take r common, it is r dr d phi dz. If I do so, this will be multiplied by 1 by r. This will be multiplied by 1 by r. It is dou square t by dou r square plus 1 by r dou t by dou r, plus along phi direction, if I take r common, it will become k phi of 1 by r square. I want to take r common, 1 by r square dou square t by dou phi square. Now we can take r dr d phi dz common. So plus along z direction we have kz dou square t by dou z square r dr d phi dz. So this is about term 1. Now moving for term 2, we have from term 2 heat generated inside the volume per unit time will be equal to, we know Q dot is the heat generated per unit volume, so therefore heat generated will be Q dot times volume. Volume is R dr d phi dz, where Q dot is the heat generated per unit volume. Heat generated per unit volume. Now moving for third term, that is increase in internal energy per unit volume. I can write, moving for term 3, that is increase in internal energy per unit time. It is mCp dou t by dou t, where mass is density times volume. It is density times volume is R dr d phi dz. So mCp dou t by dou t. So mCp dou t by dou t is the increase in internal energy per unit time, where mass is density times volume. Coming for fourth term, that is work done by the volume is 0. So therefore, if I substitute all of this in equation 1, I will get from equation 1. So we have Kr dou square t by dou r square plus 1 by r dou t by dou r into r dr d phi dz plus k phi dou square t by dou phi square into 1 by r square into r dr d phi dz plus kz dou square t by dou z square r dr d phi dz plus q dot r dr d phi dz. This is equal to rho r dr d phi dz cp dou t by dou t. So now throughout I can take r dr d phi dz common and cancel it off, and for isotropic material with homogeneous material properties we can write for homogeneous and isotropic material K is constant. So therefore I can write it as throughout cancelling of r dr d phi dz, volume is throughout cancelled, K is taken common and send it to RHS and end up with the equation as dou r square plus 1 by r dou t by dou r plus I can write this as continuously without brackets because no multiplications are there, plus 1 by r square dou square t by dou square dou phi square plus dou square t by dou z square plus q dot by k is equal to 1 by alpha dou t by dou t, where alpha is thermal diffusivity, which I defined in our previous lecture itself, where alpha is equal to k by rho Cp, which is nothing but thermal diffusivity. So this is the expression for three-dimensional governing differential equation for heat conduction in cylindrical coordinate system. Let me pause this video for a while so that people can copy it down. Later we will solve for one-dimensional steady state without internal heat generation, that is analysis of heat conduction in a cylinder. Now moving ahead, the next topic is one dimension steady state heat conduction without internal heat generation in cylindrical coordinate. So now to analyze one dimension steady state heat conduction without internal heat generation in cylindrical coordinate system, let me consider a cylinder like this. Having thickness T, a hollow cylinder having thickness T like this. So now I can write this as so from here to here I can mark it as radius R1. From here till here I can mark it as radius R2, and this length can be taken as thickness, that is thickness is equal to R2 minus R1. Let us consider a cylinder like this. Now for one dimension, that is in radial direction, that is in R direction, let me consider the heat flow in R direction. Therefore the phi and z directions are neglected. Let me take the modified equation wherein which I express the first two terms in product rule. So if I do product rule, it is first function r into derivative of second is dou square t by dou r square. R and r will get cancelled, I will get dou square t by dou r square itself. Next, second function dou t by dou r, differentiation of first is 1. So therefore dou t by dou r into 1 by r, that is what I will get. So I will formulated it for simplification in terms of product rule combination. Now for one dimension I am considering only in radial direction. I am neglecting phi and z direction without internal heat generation, therefore second term will become 0, and also this is for steady state, so therefore temperature is a function of space around, it is independent of time, so RHS will also become 0. So hence the equation will be reduced as to 1 by r dou by dou r of r dou t by dou r, which is equal to 0. Since temperature is a function of r alone, I can write this as, that is, send r to RHS, it will become d by dr of r dt by dr, which is equal to 0. Now integrating this equation, I will get, so integration and differentiation will get cancelled, I will get r dt by dr, which is equal to constant of integration c1. This is because of the reason it is indefinite integral. Now rearranging the terms, I will get dt by dr, which is equal to c1 by r. So that is dt is equal to c1 by r into dr. Now again integrating the above equation, again integrating the above equation, I will get temperature T is equal to differentiation of integration of 1 by r is ln r, so therefore it is c1 log base e r plus constant of integration c2. Let us take this as equation number 3 and this as equation number 2, whereas the basic equation is equation 1. So for equation 1, we are applying the conditions and formulating the equation for one dimension, and now we are double integrating it to get the temperature distribution. Now we have two constants C1 and C2. Now formulate the two boundary condition, that is the boundary conditions that I will formulate are, let us take at temperature at R is equal to R1, temperature is T1, at R is equal to R2, take temperature as T2. So formulating the boundary conditions, first one, at R is equal to R1, temperature T is T1, second one, at R is equal to R2, temperature T is T2. So substitute these two in equation 3, so which yields us from equation 3, T1 is equal to C1 ln R1 plus C2. This will yield us T2 is equal to C1 ln R2 plus C2. So now if I take the difference, I can solve. So therefore if I take the difference, I will get T1 minus T2 as, so solving these two equations, I will get T1 minus T2 as C1 can be taken as common. If I take C1 common, I have ln R1 minus ln R2, C2 will get cancelled. So therefore I will get the value of C1 as T1 minus T2 divided by ln of R1 by R2. Ln of R1 by R2. So now substitute C1 in any one of these equation and get the value of C2. So thereby I will get the value of C2 as C2 will become, let me substitute in T1 equation, C2 will become T1 minus C1 ln R. T1 minus C1 ln R1. So therefore C2 will be T1 minus T2 by ln of R1 by R2 into ln of R1. So hence from equation 3, the temperature distribution will be T is equal to C1. C1 is T1 minus T2 by ln of R1 by R2 into ln R plus C2. C2 is T1 minus T2 by ln of R1 by R2 times ln of R1. So this is the equation for temperature distribution for an heat transfer to cylinder for one dimension steady state without internal heat generation. Now, in order to determine the rate of heat transfer, to find rate of heat transfer, let us consider Q is equal to minus K area times dt by dr evaluated at base R is equal to R1. Now we know the temperature distribution differentiated with respect to R and evaluated R is equal to R1. So if we do that, we have dt by dr evaluated at R is equal to R1 will turn out to be, so T1 is constant, it is 0, and in this term also we don't have R, we have only R1 and R2, therefore this term will also become 0. We have only this term, so if I differentiate this, I will get T1 minus T2 divided by ln of R1 by R2, differentiation of ln R is 1 by R. And also we know that area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow, the area perpendicular direction of heat flow is projected area, so therefore it is nothing but the circumference into length, that is 2 pi R into L. So area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow is circumference into length. We can observe area perpendicular direction of heat flow is circumference into length. That is what we have, 2 pi RL, which is area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow. So now substitute to this equation and solve. So if I want to evaluate the entire equation at R1, so this will also become R1, this will also become R1. If I don't want to substitute R is equal to R1, leave it as it is, any of that will get cancelled off. If I substitute and solve, I will get Q is equal to minus K 2 pi RL into T1 minus T2 divided by ln of R1 by R2 into 1 by R. Cancel off R and R. Now if you observe, R2 is greater than R1, so therefore this term will become negative. So instead of which, I will take R2 by R1 by multiplying this negative sign. If I multiply negative sign in both numerator and denominator, I can interchange this. Then minus of minus will become plus. So therefore, I can write Q as 2 pi KL T1 minus T2 divided by ln of R2 by R1. So this negative sign is cancelled by interchanging this. This can be written as minus ln of R2 by R1. That minus and this minus will get cancelled. So this is of the form, I can write this as T1 minus T2 divided by ln of R2 by R1 whole divided by 2 pi KL whole divided by 2 pi KL. And this is known as thermal resistance for conduction in a cylinder. So this is analogous to electrical circuits, that is flow of current is equal to difference in voltage by electrical resistance. Now flow of heat is equal to difference in temperature by thermal resistance. The thermal resistance for cylinder is ln of R2 by R1 divided by 2 pi KL. Let me pause this video for a while so that people can copy it down. Later we will solve for composite cylinder. Now moving ahead for composite cylinder. If we consider composite cylinder, let us consider a composite cylinder like this. Let us consider a composite cylinder which is subjected for outer end convection also, wherein which he has specified H0 and temperature. Inside also let us consider the convection heat transfer as Hi and T1. The surface temperature taken as T2, T3 and T4. Ambient temperature is taken as T5. Now if I plot the radius will look like this. So this radius can be taken as R1, this radius can be taken as R2, and this radius can be taken as R3. This is Hi, and let us call this as surface 1, 2, 3, 4 and the ambient atmosphere as 5. Now for steady state we know that Q122 is equal to Q223 is equal to Q324 is equal to Q425 are all equal to constant Q. So now we know that Q122 is because of heat transfer due to convection. So therefore Q122 can be written as T1 minus T2 divided by resistance due to convection is Hi Ai. So hence I can write T1 minus T2 as Q122 into 1 by Hi Ai. Next, Q223 is conduction mode of heat transfer. We know that T2 minus T3 divided by ln of R2 by R1 divided by 2 pi Kl. So hence I can write T2 minus T3 as Q223 times ln of R2 by R1 whole divided by 2 pi Kl. So similarly I can write for Q223 is done. Q324 is also by conduction. So therefore it is T3 minus T4 divided by ln of R3 by R2 whole divided by 2 pi Kl. So hence I can write T3 minus T4 as Q324 into ln of R3 by R2 whole divided by 2 pi Kl. And finally we have Q425 by convection. Therefore it is T4 minus T5 by 1 by H0 A0. So hence I can write T4 minus T5 as Q425 times 1 by H0 A0. So now we know that the difference in temperature T1 minus T5 can be written as T1 minus T2 plus T2 minus T3 plus T3 minus T4 plus T4 minus T5. Now we know all the values. We know T1 minus T2, we know T2 minus T3, we know T3 minus T4, and also we know T4 minus T5. So therefore, and also for steady state, we know that rate of heat transfer is constant. So therefore, throughout I can take Q as common, and I can write it as T1 minus T5 is equal to Q times the resistance due to convection is Hi Ai plus ln of R2 by R1 2 pi Kl plus ln of R3 by R2 divided by 2 pi Kl plus 1 by H0 A0. So this can be written as Q of R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus R4 resistances. So hence I can write Q is equal to T1 minus T5 by sum of resistances due to convection and conduction in cylindrical coordinates. So this is of the form Q is equal to delta D by resistance. So if I know temperature at 1 and 3, then I can write it as Q is equal to T1 minus T3 divided by R1 plus R2. If I want to conduct analysis between 2 and 4, then Q is equal to T2 minus T4 divided by these two resistances, that is R2 plus R3. So it is not mandatory that you should take the temperature difference at successive or from first point to last point. You can take temperature difference between any 2 points divided by the resistance between those 2 points. That is, if I want to take analyze the points 1 and 3, then Q is equal to T1 minus T3 divided by, we have two resistances, resistance due to convection and resistance due to conduction. That will become T1 minus T3 divided by R1 plus R2. So by using this, we can solve problems on composite cylinders. So this is very important to address numerical problems. That's all from this lecture. Thank you all.